because I think there is that value there through the regional system. And if we can provide that a little bit better by just a little bit more, it may be a reasonable step to take. And anyways, just thank you again for coming up and presenting this all to Council.
Councillor Cannon.
I too wanted to thank you for your presentation, Don. I had a quick question about the one card.
Right.
I just wanted to kind of understand it a bit better. So if someone got a book, for instance, in Okanagan Falls,
Right.
and then you returned it at the library in Salmon Arm, it's sent back to the library that it comes from?
Within our system, no. So what I was talking about was provincially wide. With Okanagan Falls as part of the Okanagan Regional Library, so we've always had, you can take out a book anywhere. And the book tends to, wherever it gets brought back, they'll look and see, is it something we can use here? It may stay there, or it may be called for, somebody has a request on it for somewhere else. The one card system is throughout the province as a whole, so you could go to Prince George or Vancouver or Victoria, wherever. So it's taking what we do within ourselves and sort of making it a province-wide effort.
So if you got a book in Salmon Arm and returned it to Prince George, they wouldn't necessarily send it back to Salmon Arm?
No, they would send it back because it's a different system.
Okay.
But if it was, it's all our, we don't have any, none of our books are based in any particular branch within our system. They constantly just float as the demand is within the Okanagan Regional Library. However, they belong to the Okanagan Regional Library, whereas a Prince George book would belong to Prince George Library or
So keeping in mind like that one card policy, then being able to do that, is it quite costly, like shipping the books back to the libraries that they come from?
It actually is, and I think one of the things that you may have seen either at the regional district level or coming to your council, if it hasn't already come, is it okay? Is a request to keep postage rates in line, and that's to the federal direction.
Okay. So
and again, if they take away the library special library book rate, the cost to us would be fairly significant. So that we're really trying to keep that special rate.
People using that one card?
It's used more than others. I think if you're on a travel route, if you're not, or if you're in a destination place, you may have people come and stay for a bit. So I would think not as much as you might think, because a lot of people still do their library use. But anybody who's traveling a lot does tend to use that.
Okay, great, thanks.
Councillor Lyson.
Yeah, I think that's something that we take for granted here in British Columbia. I know certainly when I was in Alberta for a short stint, when I was in Rent here, I went to the library to get a book. They asked me for $10 to get my library card. That's crazy. Where is from? And then I miss British Columbia for that fact alone, and forget that this wonderful resource is included for everyone to use at minimal cost. So I support it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Councillor Hinsett.
To ask for the item that's in our agenda from the library board, requesting a motion from council, if this would be the appropriate time to bring it up, or whether we want to do it in a few minutes.
Would you like to make that motion?
Certainly. The motion essentially reads that the Libraries Trustees Association BC requests that ORL and through it its community members support Private Members Bill C-458 and the protection of Canada's libraries' access to concessionary postal rates for library materials. And the library board on which I sit agreed to that request and directed our chair to forward the letter to councils.
Right, over for a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Lyson. Any further discussion on this?
The only comment I'll make further is, per the board's request, I did approach our MP, Colin Mays, when I ran into him at UBCM, asking him to be supportive of this bill, being that the government's current sitting party will be supportive and supporting of our local libraries and the ability to ensure that those libraries are maintained at an affordable cost.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you.
Added vote. Okay. So,
Is there any further questions? Councillor Flynn.
No, I thought I was going to deal with that other issue that I forgot at the start. So.
Got off easy.
great. Thank you so much again.
Thank you again for taking the time to come.
Thanks.
We're going to back up one item to the disclosure of interest item at this point. Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Worship. Sorry.
Oh,
I forgot that 9.1, the tax exemption, because it's all being dealt with in one, I do have conflict with two of the tax exemptions because I do benefits for competition for Hillside, the Good Samaritan facility, and I do benefits for the golf course, which are both in that bylaw. So although I wasn't involved in any discussions on those two, and I'd like the paper to note that, by the way, the article in the paper did not mention I wasn't involved in the discussions on the Good Samaritan, so I will be stepping out.
brings us to item 6.1, regular council meeting minutes, October the 9th. Do we have a motion?
Moved by Councillor Cannon, second by Councillor Flynn, that the regular council meeting minutes of October 9, 2007 be adopted as circulated.
Discussion. All in favor? Motion is carried. Special council meeting minutes for October the 15th. Do we have a motion?
Moved by Councillor Lyson, second by Councillor Harrison, that the special council 15, 2007 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. Committee reports, Development and Planning Services Committee meeting minutes for October the 15th. Do we have a motion?
Moved by Councillor Flynn, second by Councillor Idzan, that the Development and Planning Services Committee meeting minutes of October 15, 2007 be received as information.
All in favor? Carried. Item 8.1, introduction of bylaws, fee for service amendment bylaw number 3653. Do we have a motion?
Moved by Councillor Harrison, second by Councillor Kentel, that the bylaw entitled Fee for Service Amendment Bylaw number 3653 be read a first and third time.
Director of Corporate Services.
Your Worship, this fee is put into place to cover the costs of completing, processing latecomer agreements in the future.
Thank you. Councillor Cannon.
Could you just explain that further as to how that will work?
That is when to council, or pursuant to the latecomer agreements, wherein a developer puts in excess or extended services and council approves those costs to be recoverable from benefiting properties. The agreement is to provide that the benefiting properties will pay the city and will pay the developer for those costs.
So just a question on that. So if we have, for instance, a subdivision, and I'm thinking of one on Fort F actually, and they put in road, property owner wanting latecomer fees, does this automatically trigger it?
No, Your Worship, and perhaps I'll have the Director of Engineering speak to that.
No, Your Worship, we'll require the property owner enter into a latecomer waiver agreement. This way we discharge of all or any latecomers, so then we're not required to collect them.
So the property owner at first has to waive latecomer.
And the property owner has to decide whether he wishes to proceed to do all the work to establish what the latecomer fees are, or he does a waiver to waive his, I guess, the cost that he's spent for extended or excess services.
And will there be, like I know in the past, I think there was like a 10-year, there was a certain amount of time for a latecomer?
That's correct. The Act currently allows up to a maximum of 15 years.
Thanks.
So just to clarify, we're not changing the latecomer agreement, we're just charging a fee for it where we didn't before, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Worship.
And will this $1,000 also be recoverable in that latecomer fee? Latecomer agreement?
No, Your Worship, that will be an application fee. It will not be covered.
Thank you. Councillor Kendall.
What was the fee prior to this? Fee was zero. We just processed them. But in light of the last one that we just